All right, so this is going to be a reading for Capricorn. And for the Capricorn that I'm reading for today, I'm seeing that there's a few different things going on for you here, different types of energies that I think all kind of connect in some way. So I'm going to kind of parse my way through them throughout the reading. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like to contribute your energy in a deeper way to help me manifest messages that resonate more for you, you can like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, I do offer personal readings. My email is down below in the description box. Now, for the Capricorn that I'm reading for today, I'm seeing that you've been moving through something quite painful, something quite disappointing. And this is kind of a process that you've been moving through emotionally for quite a while. For many of you, I'm hearing this could be 2 years, could be more, could be less, but a significant amount of time. And it has to do with some type of connection with someone else and the way that it affected you on a really deep level. And other people may not even fully realize how deeply this has affected you because it's not something that I see you sharing about. And if you do share about it, you probably don't let on the full extent to which you've been through a healing process. So it's definitely something that you're moving through kind of independently. And even subconsciously. So even when you're not consciously working on whatever this is, it's a feeling and an experience that kind of stays with you over time. And something that may come through in different ways depending on how your subconscious kind of shows up for you in your material world. Now, your oracle cards for the day are healing, control, and slowing down. So, something that Capricorn placements experience a lot, and I can attest to this myself as a Capricorn moon, is that it often makes us feel better to have control or to feel like we have control. And it doesn't mean that we're controlling people, it just means that, we feel safest when we know what's going on. We feel safest when we feel like we have a grip on things. And when it comes to your healing process, that could in some ways kind of get in the way of truly healing because healing kind of has its own timeline, its own process. Some days it feels really good, other days it feels really bad. Sometimes you feel like you're making progress, other times it feels like you're moving backwards. And so it's a process that really can't be controlled, and you can't really dictate how the healing process happens or how quickly or in what way or what you experience. And so Spirit's asking you to kind of slow down in such a way that you can release control of your healing process and allow it to move at the pace that it needs to move at. So sometimes it may feel like it's moving quickly, and other times it may feel like it's not moving at all. And it's kind of something that has to move and become its own animal in a way. It's not something that you can necessarily lock your hands around. In the recent past, I see you kind of struggling with that, wanting to um, complete this process or wanting to establish something for yourself. For some of you, this could have to do with your financial security, with establishing a foundation, succeeding, that kind of thing. And there could have been, I'm hearing, an addiction to that experience. So maybe not like a literal addiction, like drugs or alcohol or something. For some of you, maybe. But for others of you, I'm really just seeing that there was like this really intense focus on completing something when actually you were just beginning at it. So for some of you, this could be the healing process. For others of you, this could be something like a project that you're working on. But they're showing you kind of starting this process and then needing it to be done or needing to kind of reach the finish line and that coming through in some type of unhealthy way. That could be that control that we were talking about. And so Spirit is kind of asking you to release your grip on that. Let's take a look at that process. This is a tough energy. You're showing me like moving forward and trying to detach from something, but not really being fully detached. Still kind of hanging on, still kind of ruminating on it, and not really even fully realizing, you know, that you haven't fully moved on. And so there's a way that in some ways you might have moved forward. In other ways, you're still there. You're still kind of turning back. And it comes through as like a very stuck energy. And you were just kind of at the beginning of actually kind of moving forward. So close to the beginning that it's like you reached out your foot to take the first step and you're like, that's it, I'm going. But it's like your foot never even hit the ground. You're like rooted in place. It's a very stuck kind of feeling. But you're showing me like, no, I'm healing. I need to do it. I need to get there. I'm on my way. I'm doing fine. And I think that is like this kind of deceptive energy that comes through. And that's that kind of, yeah, just an energy that isn't quite honest with itself. Maybe that controlling energy that need to be like, yep, it's all good here. And it's actually not all good there. Yeah, you have this feeling of needing to get to the finish line, needing for it to be done, that process, that healing process, that project, whatever it is that you're moving towards. You're like, well, why isn't it done yet? You know, what am I doing wrong? When is it going to be finished? All of that. And you get kind of stuck in your head, focusing on the end goal rather than actually experiencing where you are now. And if you were to be present in that experience, you would have maybe noticed a bunch of things about yourself or about the process rather than looking ahead to the future and wondering, you know, am I not good enough? And it's kind of counterintuitive because the healing process, it's not about being good enough. You're just in the healing process. But you're showing me you kind of need to be the best at healing in some way or something like that. And you're like, I need to achieve it. I need to achieve becoming this healed version of myself. And it's not meant to be an achievement or something that even has a finish line. It's just meant to be something that you experience, that your soul kind of experiences. Yeah, you think you're on the right path. You think you're moving in the right direction here. You're like, I got this. I'm healing. I know I'm healing, etc. But there's all this stuff that you're not looking in that because you're not there yet. You're not healed. You're not done. And healing is not a fun process. It doesn't look great. You don't look all put together. You have days where you feel gross. You feel really out of it. And I see you kind of not wanting to totally acknowledge that part of the healing process and kind of tell yourself like, yeah, I'm doing great. I've succeeded. And you're looking at it through this lens of whether or not you're doing good at healing. But again, it's not really about that. It's about the process. Let's take a look at your current energy here. I think something kind of comes down or something becomes clear to you. There's like an energy where like something is made known to you, where you start to see things kind of differently, the way that you're viewing the situation maybe. There's a tower moment here. It's like bam, right in the middle of your reading. And then that kind of sparks this new perspective for you where I think you kind of come out of that cloudiness, that confusion, and you start to just get present and like see what it is that's been there the whole time, but that you have been kind of disconnected from. There's some type of loving or supportive energy that comes in, almost like a parent sort of figure, and they kind of start to show you things in a new way, or they kind of start to guide you in a better direction, and it comes from a loving place, you know. You could even ask this energy for support or for care. It almost comes through as like a parent, although for many of you it won't be a parent. It could be a spirit guide. It could be a teacher or a mentor. But there's something that comes in and kind of helps you see things clearer. It takes you from the 6 to the 7 of Cups and kind of brings you more in touch with your emotions. It takes you some time to parse through it, to kind of see the truth and to be honest with yourself here. It's almost like the masculine and feminine energies within you are becoming aligned through this healing process, and like you're starting to get more in touch with yourself. You're starting to balance out. You're starting to give and receive to yourself in a way that feels more balanced. And it comes after this period of being really disconnected. And I see you slowly starting to come back and be more aligned. um, with some help along the way, It's funny, you go from the 6 to the 7 of Cups, you go from the Ace of Wands to the 2 of Wands, and so it's kind of like you start building yourself back up once you start taking a bit more of an honest look, and I see you having a supportive energy around you that kind of helps you do that. Once you kind of realize, oh, like I thought I was healing, but I was actually holding on tightly to what I thought healing was supposed to be, then it kind of reveals to you how much more you still have to go. It kind of like opens up this door of, okay, I'm not actually done with anything. I'm just in it. And it's like you start to see your whole healing process from a fresh perspective, and I see you kind of almost being invigorated, like, this is great, like, let's go heal. It's kind of funny the way that it comes through, because suddenly it's like all of a sudden you wake up, like you have this wake up moment, this realization moment, not about one thing in particular about your healing journey, but about the way that you've been approaching it, your perspective. And you start to see things a lot clearer too, because you have clarity over the whole situation. Yeah, you go from almost like having this veil over your eyes that's self-imposed, the parts of yourself that you're denying looking at, the parts of yourself that you didn't really want to see, because you were like, I'm fine, I'm doing great at this. And it's like, once you remove the ego element of needing to be good at your healing process, you start to see things so much clearer. The truth kind of comes out, and not just about you and your healing process, but about lots of things in your life or the things that you're actually processing. Everything becomes clearer to you because you're starting to see things from a clearer perspective. One that's more honest in all ways, and that kind of opens up the truth in a lot of new ways. Once you start to see things clearer, you also start to see like, okay, like which connections are going to be better for me, like which connections are going to help me, which supportive energies are going to help me see the truth more, what are some ways that I can connect to myself that makes me feel better, and then I see you kind of being a lot clearer and kind of being more on your path and starting to feel a lot better. Whether or not you're alone or you have supportive energies around you, I see supportive energies coming in to help you because you've clarified kind of within yourself first. Let's get 3 cards of advice for Capricorn. Just start to balance it out. It's going to take time. There's going to be days where you feel balanced and days where you feel extremely unbalanced, and that's part of the process, but just start to kind of open up to being honest with yourself about where you're at, not where you're going, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that this helps. I hope that this resonates, and I'll see you next time.